Run like I don't got an estate. Yeah. Run it up. Yeah.
Yeah, welcome again, guys. This is the Box Score with my co-host Ajay Armand Williams. Yeah, I call your full name today, bro. Now we have two guests, two Manchester United supporters, one all the way from London, England, one Adam Graves, aka Maxi Miliano Bretov. We have Mario van der Poel. She's on a Dutchman. I want you guys to like, subscribe, check out the page, Box Score underscore on Instagram, Box Score Live on YouTube. Just drop your questions, drop your queries. Just link us up. We will be willing and able to answer every question possible. All right. We will get into the thick of things today. So there was a question being asked. Who has been the best playmaker in the Premier League this season? It's a quite interesting one, but we can start here with AJ.
Are you trying to put me in a position for these Manchester United fans to come at me early, right? Because you already know what I'm going to say. You already know what I'm going to say. I can't go against my guy right now. We've been having this discussion for a while. My mind hasn't been changed. It's still Kevin De Bruyne to me. Like, drop of form is still a drop in his form is still better than the majority of the men in that league. And it so let me refer to this stat that I saw yesterday. So for me personally, when I think about a playmaker, it's not just assist, because I hear that stat being judged for a playmaker personally, just because I think it represents more of the quality you have around you. However, it's still relevant, but not the most relevant. For me, it is the chances created. KDB has created more chances, and he has also provided more assists, but created more chances than any other player in the Premier League since the start of the 2016-2017 season. This man missed injury. He obviously had some games where he wasn't his best, but still created the most chances. To me, that's what you need to be doing as a playmaker. That is playmaking. So I'll let y'all get into it before I rebut and tear down everyone else's argument, because there's only one answer, and it's Kevin De Bruyne.
Wow!
That's quite interesting that you went that route. So we can go with one of the Manchester United boys here, Mario van der Poel. What your take on that? And do you have someone that is better in the semblance of the season? Bear this in mind at the end of the day.
As you said, as it relates to this season, I honestly would still give it to KDB, but is not as great of a margin as AJ is insinuating. Based on this season, it would be very close. Probably one would be KDB and 1.5 would be Bruno. Based on the fact that there have been games where Manchester United have been downright horrible, and Bruno pulls a rabbit out of the hat to escape with 3 points. That has shown a lot this season. But why I would not give it to him over KDB is because in the big game, Bruno still tends to go missing for large periods of the big game, and then the stats don't lie. His goals and assists against the top 6 are nowhere compared to his goals and assists for the rest of the Premier League. I would go, but KDB would be 1 and Bruno would be 1.5.
So you know what? I can start you, Mario van der Poel, early out, because I feel as you're doing a disservice to this gentleman. A man by the name of Jack Grealish. The simple fact that you're using Bruno Fernandes, he is an attacking midfielder. The conversation is about a playmaker, someone that has the level of creativity to create an opportunity. And there's no one better. And let me explain. You just talk about stats, right? You just talk about stats. There's no one. Hold on, sir.
You saw this.
The main reason for me using Jack Grealish, right? When you look at key chances per game, he's number 1 in the Premier League this season with 3.4 per game. When you're looking at
because he played less games than all the others.
Thank you.
Less
I was getting there. Thank you, AJ. Thank you. No, waiting
Believe,
for
right?
him
You
to
see
finish.
that?
I was waiting.
First of all, you
But
asked a
AJ,
general
beat me to
question.
it.
You
beat
dumb
me
asked
to it, Jay.
asked who is the best, and then after I answered, your play is sticking in this season. So after I done answered, then it tells me about this season alone.
In fairness, the amount of games that Jack Grealish played and the amount of games that Kevin De Bruyne played this season is quite close.
It's
In
quite
fairness,
because
obviously because of injury. But
I'll check it myself. Sorry, don't continue.
Throw
Don't
that
continue.
argument out the window, AJ. Throw that
No, continue. Don't.
right? And he plays in a lesser team, and he thinks that the quality around him is not to the level of Kevin De Bruyne. So you're not going to get that level of output that Kevin De Bruyne gets with Manchester City. That's a strong, expansive unit going forward. Kevin De Bruyne is going to thrive in those conditions, considering the quality he has to finish those chances. Jack Grealish got players like Ollie Watkins in front of him. You know what? He's an okay fella. He puts away a few.
Okay, you better ask Liverpool. But
only Liverpool can answer those questions, right? But in the semblance of consistency, Jack Grealish is that man. He has 10 assists this season, and even though you don't look at assists solely, like I said, key passes per game and big chances created, there's been not much better than Jack Grealish. And he playing in a unit that is not as.
Let me not put a spoke in your wheel, sir.
Mm-hmm.
You said you said playmaker, which goes to say creativity, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Because you're an attacking midfielder, that does not take away from your creativity. So do not slight Bruno for being an attacking midfielder, because if I check the assists, you want to go down the stat line.
I was gonna hit that.
Bruno is number 2, isn't he?
Yeah.
And then in terms of goals, he's top 5, isn't he?
No one taking the goals away, but sir, in terms of the level of creativity, in terms of chances created per game, key passes per game, Bruno don't even hold a candle to Jack Grealish. but Maxi, I see you have something to say, so I gotta let you carry on here.
So you tell you what it is a good thing about getting last. It's a good thing about getting last. It's like you see what everybody running with first, but then it's put severe pressure on you, because I actually agree with points from each of you. I don't think ability-wise, the best playmaker in the Premier League is Kevin De Bruyne. Ability-wise, it's ridiculous. Eden Hazard in his prime, and Hazard would have been in the conversation in his prime should that have been the case. And he's probably the closest in the last however long. Okay, cool. Bruno's negatives against him, way too heavy for playmaking as far as I'm concerned. So even though, like you just said, the stats heavily favor Bruno, there's been too many times, and I didn't even call it the big games. There are too many times when Bruno gets the ball, there's lack of productivity. There's more lack of productivity than productivity with regard to playmaking. And that's where Jack Grealish also got heated, to be very, very honest. But let me say this.
Me here.
I'm going to argue for Bruno, because my United supporter counterpart went half and half. So I got to argue for Bruno and say this. Whenever Bruno get the ball, something is going to happen. Even if that something is he can give me the ball.
Or not, it is.
Even if that something is he can give me the ball. You understand? So if our playmaking alone, he is going to be behind Kevin De Bruyne. He's going to be behind Jack Grealish. As a matter of fact, he can be behind that boy from Chelsea, that come from Ajax. ZH. He can be behind him. He can be behind Mason Mount as well from Chelsea. He can, you know what I mean? He can be behind a couple man. He can be behind Harry Kane, who who Harry Kane proven to be ridiculous at playmaking.
So basically, you're doing right now is discrediting Bruno Fernandes in the semblance of a playmaker. And that's
But as the playmaker, yeah. So
all for that, right? You can
you know. Right? But the thing is, like, he just makes something happen because you know why it's annoying as a United fan, because I used to cuss Frank Lampard. Frank Lampard, you would go 80 minutes by doing nothing in a game and then score one and set up one, or score two and Chelsea win 2-0. Bruno actually doing that for United right now. Like, Bruno would do very, very little the whole game and then score 2 goals. Everybody be freaking out about Bruno Fernandes. Even though they like Bruno, don't get tight. That's my 2 cents on that.
Okay, so
we
Bruno
can leave that there. We can leave it there because Bruno turns up in more games than he's invisible in.
I can agree. I can agree. But for 10 minutes, and that 10 minutes is good. That 10 minutes is brilliant.
The thing is, AJ, I know you strongly believe in Kevin De Bruyne, right? But everything in terms of the optics, you know, the visual of it, it goes in Jack Grealish's favor here in the semblance of this season.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't know how does it.
I heard Adam.
I agree, AJ. It can't go in.
Whenever Kevin De Bruyne, Bruno Fernandes receives the ball in the last 10 minutes or so, he's a player that could create something. That is the same way for Jack Grealish, because he's become the talisman of that Aston Villa side. Yes, Aston Villa is not a top 6 side, and for the most part, people tend to, you know, forget them, put them in the shadows of the big teams. But when you look at what he's done in terms of going forward and creating opportunities for his teammates, he's the most fouled player in the Premier League as well. So to do that, he's creating something out of nothing in the latter stages.
I do not take a point about the fouls. I don't take a point about the most foul player, because holding on to the ball and falling over on it in the Premier League is a foul.
Granted,
there are fouls that are called, and you just spoke about optics, and I'm telling you, you know this too, but I don't know. I know you don't be up early watching. I'll be watching the Premier League from dusk till dawn enough to tell you that for a fact that any single thing that where a man falls over, if he's on the ball, that's a foul. Jack Grealish just gets some of these fouls,
especially AJ. If he falls and curdles it in his hands under it.
Correct. The referee ain't calling a handball for that. It's a
foul blown directly.
It's a foul.
Directly, it's a foul.
Wait, what was it?
No pun intended.
What is it? No, I'm just saying. I'm just saying that's a non-factor. That's not a credible point to bring for your argument. What was the stat that you told me that Jack Grealish leads? The other one you mentioned before that you said he leads.
Chances created per game.
So he leads in chances created this season.
No. Key passes per game.
Passes.
He's in the top 4. He's in the top 4. And obviously, as you can see, he's played less games than the aforementioned names that Bruno Fernandes and the same Harry Kane and these fellas.
Dominic,
at the same time, he play less games, yes. But if we can bring games into the ratio, then that can actually help Bruno's case. Because Bruno's production is really ridiculous in terms of stats and we're bringing in stats. You know what I mean?
But in terms of playmaking, though, guys.
But Dom, do bear in mind my argument was not for Bruno, as you are making it seem. AJ,
he was arguing margins, my margins.
And I said it was KDB. No. It's all right for you to bring stats and all of that. I understand where that's coming from. Now I want you to put on the coach's hat, not in terms of ability, but I want you to put on the coach's hat and give me, based on the eye test, how can you not choose KDB over Jack Grealish? Based on the eye test, it's impossible. It is impossible to not choose Kevin De Bruyne.
Let me say this, right? And let me plead the fifth, right? Kevin De Bruyne is a fantastic midfielder. World class. He's absolutely world class. However, I speaking in context here. I ain't speaking yet over Kevin De Bruyne's time at Manchester City. He's been the best player.
You're speaking this season.
I agree with you. But in terms of this season, there's been no one better at playmaking than Jack Grealish.
I cannot give you that. Because first of all, you can't come and bring that argument to me now while the man is injured and KDB is in this vein of form. KDB has been the best for a couple seasons now. Jack Grealish is out. He's not playing. He's not playing
football. Was De Bruyne injured earlier on in the season?
Yes,
yeah, he was.
He's playing football now. He's playing football now. That's the point.
He's playing quite well.
My point. This argument is subjective. This playing into your point, because what gonna happen now is if Grealish come back and he needs to find a little bit of form and he's out of form, you could say that no while he's injured because he ain't playing because he left on good form, right? But he ain't playing football now. So don't tell me. What?
He left on great form, not good form. Correction, sir.
The fact of the matter is, listen. KDB has set the bar so high that people feel that everything that anyone else who's coming up underneath him, or even when he just seems to be playing football normally and is doing his regular thing, his bar is already so high that people don't even look at it as in, you know what, this man is really good, you know.
I got a question.
When KDB plays at a 7 out of 10, people are disappointed, Dominic. All right. When KDB plays at a 7 out of 10, the world of football is disappointed.
But I got a question. So, well, let me think about saying it. So KDB 7 is better than not maintaining. KDB 7 is better than not maintain. Right, good. So
don't come in and talk about an injured man. Don't bring in an injured man and then telling me he's the best man for the season right now while the man injured.
Yeah, they talk about KDB.
Let it go about
KDB.
Wow.
Everything flowing through the man. Like,
I can use this in the context of this conversation, right? Because early on, Ajay told me on this same program that Gundogan was the best midfielder, or Kevin De Bruyne wasn't playing so well.
At that point, yes, but
said that no. Jack Grealish, there's been not a negative thing said about Jack Grealish in the context that he's playing for a team that is not the top 6. Are you guys truly understanding the level of quality?
He's sitting on the sideline for a team that's in the top 6. He's sitting on the sideline. He's sitting on the sideline. He's sitting on the. He's been hurt for 2 months. He's been hurt for 2 months. He's been hurt for 2 months.
A negative. There's not been a negative thing said about Jack Grealish by whom? English pundits. Let me talk about that. England. Hey, England. England only know to praise them on. Let me be fair and frank here now. One of the reasons why I would have loved if Jack Grealish had gone to a bigger, quote unquote, bigger side is to see, let me see if he can handle, because this same Kevin De Bruyne that we hear praising now was horrid at Chelsea first time round. Yeah, check. So I would want to have seen Jack Grealish. Yeah, definitely. We know all that. But I would have wanted to see Jack Grealish take that step to a quote unquote bigger club. And let me see if you still, because right now you're a big fish in a small pond. You know what I'm saying? You're a big fish in a small pond, B.
What the viewers say in the comments, you could mention to you guys who you agree with. You agree with Ajay, you agree with Pool. Obviously, I know most of you agree with Dom. Is no question. You can return after this break, right? We can return after this break. Yeah, so we're back from the break. As you can see, guys, we've met an impasse. These 3 guys went with Kevin De Bruyne, but I'm fair. I think that they're all wrong, but we could agree to disagree on that. I know that Jack Grealish is right? And we realize that Armand is a hypocrite. We can stick with that. Right? So Chelsea. So Timo Werner has had a very difficult time at Chelsea so far.
Putting it lightly.
Yeah, you know, he's been compared to Fernando Torres and Mateja Kejman in terms of what his productivity this season. What you feel should he do going forward, Maxi? Do you feel like he should cut his losses and just head for the hills? Should stay another year at Chelsea? What should he do?
Batten down the hatches and play hard, big man, because I feel a lot of times different players, different strokes, I suppose. Some people cut ties and go to another team. We was just talking about the same De Bruyne. De Bruyne had a torrid time at Chelsea. Yes, we got the varying factors and what's not. Cut ties, went to Germany, rediscovered himself, and now the rest, as it says, history. But if it was Timo Werner, you can't just lose that killer instinct over a couple months. I would try to rediscover myself if I were he, batten on the hatches and play hard, because as a striker, it got to be frustrating not scoring goals, and he was a killer. Now, so we talking about the Haalands and thing no, but Timo Werner was a killer. You get me? So I would stick it out. If I was here, I would stick it out at least another year at Chelsea, see what happened. I don't think he has as bad as Kesman and them man there and Torres definitely. You know, and Shevchenko when he went to Chelsea. We could call him. Chelsea has some powers. Some men that was firing.
Many have called Chelsea the strikers' graveyard. You know, a lot of talented strikers have gone there and they've somehow not come up to fruition. But I agree with you, Maxi. To be quite honest, I feel like this is the first time we've agreed with one another. He's looked
for a long time.
He's looked bereft of confidence this season. He looks like if he's working hard, but he's not getting his in front of goal. He looks lacking that clinical instinct, and that's telling on a player like him. And after time, that plays on your confidence levels. Even though the manager does have the ability to give him some degree of motivation, he does look like a man that isn't quite himself. And I feel as though, you know, we've seen it already with strikers and players. You know, you get a bad season like Luka Modric. His first season at Real Madrid, he was, you know, blamed as the worst signing in Real Madrid. The worst signing
again due to the manager. There are
factors
here that just keep reoccurring with these great players under a certain manager. Continue.
So you know, he, like you said, but no, Ajay, just take your time, pump the brakes.
Because he's actually not doing the other things he's not doing badly, you know. Like he's still linking play, he's still making runs. I saw him for Germany the other day. Your man missed at 8 yards. 8 yards. Timo Werner, an open bar.
But to be honest, Maxi, for a man that scored over 25 goals last season for Leipzig, he's only scored about 5 goals in the league. That is deplorable. That is absolutely deplorable. That
5 goals in the league.
Productivity
he only got 8 for the whole season. He only got 8.
So his level of productivity must increase if he's to stay, because we know how Chelsea Football Club is, the culture of that club is, or you perform badly, it's time to go. You know, we spent a lot of money on you, 50 million or 45 million pounds. Yeah, it's time to hit the road, Jack. Don't you come back anymore.
Well, they should ask a question about Kepa too. They should tell them to ask about Kepa too. And well, they ask leave Timo. They got Kepa saying down behind men to spend less on. Leave Timo, let Timo discover himself.
I ultimately believe that it will be due to the formation Tuchel is employed. It will be either him or Havertz that might suffer, to be quite honest. Pulisic,
I agree.
He's played, he's looked expansive, he looks inventive, he looks imaginative going forward. And then you have Mason Mount. He's been basically the man this season for Chelsea. So there's only really and truly one position up for grabs. And that comes down to those 2 players, to be quite honest, because Tammy Abraham is out the door, most likely. Giroud is up in age. So, you know, he has to fight for his place. And that is my view on Timo Werner. AJ, what do you have to say pertaining to that?
Honestly, right? To listening to all of you, I could understand where you're coming from. However, I disagree with it, and I'll tell you why. I feel like when you have a season as bad as Timo Werner has had, you need to reinvent yourself somewhere else. There's always the argument that yes, you should stay, but from what I'm seeing, I think it's best for him to go. And he's a German team is going to take him. Leverkusen has always take back people. Borussia Dortmund, when they sell people, they would take somebody back. Like he's going to find somewhere in
Bremen
Germany.
as well.
Leipzig, huh?
Where the Bremen takes a lot of them when they're on
you know that too. You know that
up.
too. The point is he can find somewhere to go, right? The thing is, especially when it seems like you're losing your place, because now that Tuchel has kind of like identified like a little cluster of players that seems to fit his philosophy and formation and whatnot. I feel like Timo Werner is on the outside looking in, right? Kai Havertz, and Dom just mentioned that Kai Havertz seems to be the one who is preferred at the number 9 position. I could see that going forward. At the beginning of the season under Lampard, we were seeing more of Hakim Ziyech. No, he's coming off the bench. Mason Mount still a starter in that team. Pulisic kind of like reinventing himself too. I don't get the feeling that Thomas Tuchel sees Werner as a number 9. The fact that he came in and he was still playing him on the outside, and I feel like those positions are already, well, like I said, Havertz seems to be locking that position down because that's where Tuchel is getting the best out of him. And then out wide, where Werner has been employed most of the time, it seems he hasn't been playing well. And there are other players who are, to me, cementing those positions. And the thing is, it's not like Timo is not getting chances. He's getting chances and just cannot find the back of the net. Is a different situation if we're saying, all right, well, you're paying him outside and he can't get into the game, but the man is getting chances and just can't score. I was once personally advocating for the man to be taking penalties because I kind of believe, especially when you have a striker who out of form a little bit, let your striker take penalties to get back the scoring touch to get them into it, right? But the man had a penalty and piss it away, and then I was like, all right, I'm done with that. Let Jorginho take them for real, because you just waste my time with arguing for you. So I feel like he should seek even if he doesn't want to leave the club, he should seek, even if it's a temporary move away, to rediscover some sort of form and, most importantly, confidence, because I don't see him getting it in London. As Dom said, is like the strikers' graveyard, and also mention their economic philosophy, basically, and how the club is run, and you just don't really get much time. You don't get that much time. So to play a whole season is poorly, he needs to go somewhere else, rediscover form, and then they'll decide if they want to keep him, bring him back in, or cash in on him. But I think he needs to leave next season.
Mario Van der Poel.
All right, so there are 2 ways to look at this, basically. To start, let's start by saying Chelsea's philosophy has always been, what have you done for me lately? There are clubs that will give players a chance, but Chelsea, as we know, is what have you done for me lately? And if that question is put forward, he hasn't done anything lately. So why does he warrant being still in the squad? Now, some will argue, which I can tend to agree with at times, change of scenery in terms of coming to Chelsea, not being in a setting that you're accustomed to, because you're not in Germany, you're in London, big price tag, the pressures that come with playing in the Premier League, because believe you me or not, it sounds really cliche, the pressures of the Premier League are like in no other league. I know like people will disagree with me in terms of quality and all of that stuff, which is all debatable, but in terms of pressure, there's no league that pressures you like the Premier League. So like having to come in with that price tag after what you've recently done, Like, it's all pressure. We don't know if his family is there with him. Like, all of these things have to be taken into perspective when speaking about the professional footballer or the professional athlete in general. Because apart from being a professional, he's a human being. So like these things, day-to-day living, those sorts of things play a key role. But when I say that to lead to this. Your job is that of a professional footballer. And as a professional footballer, you are a striker, which means your job is to score goals. So all of that stuff being said, I know a lot of professional clubs have therapists that help get players through like the process of climatizing to new leagues, different language, all of that stuff. But at the end of the day, the end product on the pitch is what you are judged on. And based on his end product, it is horrendous, for the use of a poor word. It's very horrendous. I don't think that he should fully leave. I think being loaned out to get back his confidence, and I would say loan him out to a club in England so that he's still in the league would do his confidence some good. But it also doesn't help a player when a manager's changed midway during the season, because with change in management comes change in philosophy, change in playing style, change in adapting to like the new perspectives. So like all of that stuff did not help. So while his play was poor, the change of manager did not help him at all. At all. He's lacking confidence in front of the goal bar. It seems like when you try him out wide, he seems like to still have that little bit in him to like still want to try stuff. But when he gets in front of the goal bar, it goes blank again. And as a striker in football, you have to have a short-term memory. When you have a poor game, you have to forget and come again the next game. He does not seem to have short-term memory because he's remembering all of these horrible misses because he can't seem to score.
So you know what? Let me stop you there, Mario Vanderpool. Let me cut you there. Let me cut you immediately. I heard you mention something about going on loan. Chelsea does loan out the most players in the Premier League, and majority of them do not come back to the club. Yeah, majority of them don't come back to the club. I think that would be a terrible idea.
No, but I'm not saying no. Why is it terrible? Because if he is loaned out and he plays well, then that doesn't mean he wants to go back. Chelsea will sell him.
But yeah, okay, so I like that he bring up that though, Dom, because again I get kind of tag team here now with Dom, because you know what Timo Werner's salary is. You know Timo Werner is one of the top 2 or top 3 paid players at Chelsea. Like Timo Werner are like 140 or 150 or 170 or some nonsense like that, you know. It's only like Ben Chilwell or one of them man that Chelsea pays more than Timo Werner. So that's a big.
Maxi. Let me cut you because he's only second to N'Golo Kante in terms of salary at Chelsea Football Club.
See?
N'Golo makes 290. I think he makes somewhere close to from what I see here to 70. So
see?
Okay, fair enough.
So that loan move, that you know how people negotiating loans and thing. No, you gonna pay 60-40 percentage of salary and them. And I don't think clubs taking on that.
But
not when 40% bigger, not when 40%, the 40% that I paying Timo Werner gonna be bigger than everybody else at the club anyway. You know what I mean? For somebody that coming to maybe rediscover their form. I don't see that happening.
But flip side to that is that when you sell Timo Werner, right? His agent is not going to come off of that figure by that much to his new club. So he's probably going to come off of 270 and probably come down to like 2. So no matter where he goes, come on, like he's not going to come off by more than half of what he makes now.
But that's dependent
Maxi,
on him then doing well. Sorry.
Ajay, go forward.
Sorry, brother.
I'm just no problem. I just let me chime in there too. So, all right. So Dom started off by saying that Chelsea loan, like we know how many players Chelsea's loan like 2 football teams worth of players, right?
Yeah, like 40 players every season they loan out. It's known.
Yeah,
it is known.
The majority of them don't come back, but I don't think it's a case where once Chelsea loans a player out that they don't want him back at all, because there are still players that I feel could potentially be back in this team. For example, a young man at Fulham, RLC, Ruben Loftus-Cheek. I don't think his Chelsea days could be completely over as yet. They still, I mean, the other people they don't. Ross too. Ross could.
I think he is done. I think he just stays done.
Who are Loftus-Cheek? I don't necessarily feel so as yet. I don't feel so as yet. I could give a snippet into that. I got some personal info there. Yeah, Fulham, which is just down the road from me. Don't worry yourself. Interesting. Fair enough. But I still we can talk about it afterwards. But I didn't feel so yet. Because I still feel like they're trying to build a younger team. In any case, to get back to Timo, and Adam, I understand what you're saying as well with regards to his salary. Obviously, Chelsea are going to have to subsidize some of this. But the fact of the matter is, it doesn't make sense keeping him around and paying him the entire thing to score 6 and 7 goals a season. So if you have to find some kind of middle ground somewhere, like, all right, so this is why I said, I mean, in the Premier League, like Paul suggested, it's still possible, but this is why I feel like, I know a lot, it seems to me, I test that just from what I can recall, German players love to go back there to rediscover form. That's how I feel about it, which is why I suggested that, and German clubs are always welcoming to their own. So while they may not, you're correct, while they may not have a wage structure that supports his entire wage package, I feel like Chelsea got subsidized, and then it seems like they want the only clubs making money. They can be good. Loan back to Germany, man. That dead team Leverkusen want people.
Leverkusen, listen, you'll be funny to find out that the ignorant Bavarian Giants will snatch him up next season and tell him, yeah, come man, and then all of a sudden Timo look like saying ridiculous and like,
and that is all a part of life. I don't feel like it happen, but you never know.
My thing is to give himself an opportunity to fight for his place. So give it another season. If at the end of that season, you could contact your agent, allow your agent to reach out, because Lewandowski, let's be real,
I agree with that.
You can look at him to the future in terms of for Bayern Munich. Just with the idea AJ said. But for now, pump the brakes, try hard, work hard. Tuchel's a German as well. He's shown that he believes in Timo Werner. Continue on that vein. There's no need at this present moment to contact your agent.
I don't get that Tuchel has as much faith as you're suggesting, though. This is me personally, right? I don't get it. It seemed to me more like, all right, Tuchel had to try to fit him in because of who his profile is at this club. And he tried, it wasn't working, and then Tuchel has now moved on to the point where Werner is coming off of the bench.
Yeah, but the thing is a balancing act because Kai Havertz, they paid more for Kai Havertz. He's younger, so
Kai Havertz is coming into his own at the most crucial point in time.
I will not deny that. Although
right, so like I said,
this season that weren't glamorous.
In the beginning, I admit that. But lately, his form has been picking up, and Timo Werner is still kicking foolishness. I just don't get the impression that he has.
I wouldn't loan him out. My decision would be to sell him outright, no questions asked. But I'm going to stay for another year. Because Jamie Vardy,
the only reason I didn't say sell outright is because I don't know who would actually purchase right now. I feel like
thank you. That's what I was getting to, AJ. Thank you.
Yeah.
You beat me to it.
About it is we remember when Jamie Vardy first went to Leicester City. He struggled in Maxi to the point where he was considering an offer from it was not even in football. He was considering leaving football altogether, and in
That's
his
correct.
season hit the ground running. So
he came from.
Yeah, that's not Chelsea though. That's
yeah,
I
I understand that, but in the context,
The same Chelsea went and pick up a man by the name of Didier Drogba, who come to the Premier League and was shocking in his first season.
To the point where my colleagues and other persons I know called him dead, but he was dead.
Okay.
So I'm just
Shocking.
you
Give
know,
him another.
give yourself the opportunity to fight for your place next season. If it doesn't happen next season, by all means.
I can't agree with you all. This is thank you for playing right into my dad. One, when Drogba came at a young age, and they had Hernan Crespo. So it's always going to be, just listen, it was always going to be if he struggles, Crespo's there, Crespo's the type of player that will help mentor him. That's not the case now with Werner Havertz. Both are fighting for there's nobody to mentor anyone in this situation. Both are fighting for their spot.
Yeah, this is Hunger Games.
You know though, right?
This is Hunger Games.
But at the same time, you do know that same Chelsea was frustrated with Hernan Jorge Crespo too, right? And was loaning him back to Italy multiple times, right? That same Crespo, you know that.
I know that, but what happened?
Okay, good.
Why you just said it? They loan him back. Why you just said they loan him back? They loan him back. Okay.
And he never came back.
But you know why?
But I'm not saying I'm not saying Timo can't come back. I'm saying they should loan him. I'm saying
because then Drogba then came good. So the second by the time Drogba get into form the second season, Crespo was not needed. So give him another try.
A lot of factors play into Drogba coming into form too, you know, because the arrival of more skillful players, a la Arjen Robben, those players helped Drogba in terms of service and being more dynamic than what Chelsea had at this point in time.
True. The one thing that Drogba had, I'm gonna finish on this one, Dom, allow me. The one thing Drogba had that Timo Werner does not is Drogba had the full faith of his manager. And that goes a long way. That goes a long way. So that's the only thing that differs. But I still feel Timo Werner should hang in.
Loan him out.
You got me and Maxi, you know, hanging there. You know, you could put down your queries and say if you agree with me and Maxi, if you agree with Ajay and Mario. But we'll segue into so Chelsea into the semi-finals of the Champions League, guys. Can they win this trophy? Can they live?
No, they can't. No, they can't. No, they cannot.
What is that? What is that? Who you have as favorites?
Let me go into why they can't first before going to who I have as favorites. Firstly, why they can't. Chelsea has been, of the 4 teams left, Chelsea is the most inconsistent team that remains in the competition. They are extremely inconsistent. Chelsea gives you, in Belgian parlance, a mixed bag. One day, Chelsea can be great. The next day, Chelsea can be atrocious. Cup football usually lends its hand to not the best team, but the more consistent team wins cup football, Dominic. We know this. The more consistent team wins cup football. And that being said, that side from Spain, right now, that midfield trio has found the form of yesteryear.
Still,
it's going to be very hard
to beat them.
Very hard to beat Kias, Modric, And Cruz, when in the form they're in, now as I told a Madrid fan this week that Real Madrid, even their last season with Ronaldo, won games based on the strength of their midfield. They started to pull away from the Ronaldo has to win us games mentality. And
That's a
it
fact.
became the strength of the midfield. Now, that being said, Modric's form has not really dipped, nor has Casillas really over that time. The one player that form dipped tremendously that ripped Madrid for like a 2-year span was Cruz. You need him to be firing on all cylinders because he offers what Modric doesn't in certain aspects and what Cass doesn't in certain aspects. He basically makes the pendulum level. He brings equilibrium to that midfield. And I could go on a limb and say, when on form, there is no midfield tree in the world that's better.
So Mario Van der Poel, I understand everything you said, and I can agree somewhat, but every team in this largest stage of the competition have a 25% chance. Chelsea. Let me be real here. Every team in that competition got 25%.
Done with the quick math.
1-2. 1-2.
So they do have a chance of winning the competition. However, my pick on winning the competition is not Real Madrid. It is actually Paris Saint-Germain.
That's twice we agreeing for the night, brother. That's twice. I don't like this trend. I don't like this trend at all. I don't like this trend.
You take it easy, sir. No,
Carry on.
The final last season, right? They've learned and
the perennial bridesmaids. Wow.
They've gained the experience of going to the finals. Pochettino, the manager, went to the finals the year in front. So they've added all that experience together with the quality of Mbappe, the uncertainty of his contract at this present moment. We are not knowing if he's going to be there next season. The one thing they would want to bring to the city of Paris is a Champions League trophy. That is the most elusive title.
What has Poch won in his managerial? What has Poch won in his managerial career that we boast so highly about?
Zidane didn't win none until he win the first one either.
Thank you, man.
But he has won. He has won.
Come on, man.
So the thing about it, Mario, is that
what has Poch won?
The argument is not about what Poch has won, is about what PSG is about to do.
Get me.
Mbappe, Neymar. I think it's very important for Neymar to bring a Champions League trophy for Paris Saint-Germain. Mbappe, again, like I said, this might be his last season. They put together this team solely to win the Champions League. When you go back to when the Sheiks actually first took over Paris Saint-Germain Football Club, they bought all these expansive and expensive players, the most flamboyant of names in world football, and placed them together and said, win us the European big ears. They were unable to do so. And for many years, they've gone on with that same vein of mentality to see if we can win it. I feel as though this is their best opportunity. Last season, they got to the final. This season, they'll take out Man City, and it'll be a victory in the end, even if they have to go through Real Madrid. So,
like
Adam, hold on, because everyone, hold on. So everyone already knows that you agree with Don. So let me jump in here, right? I want to congratulate you, Don, because that is the biggest load of farce you have ever spoken on this show, right? And man, you just put in some good ones, but you were shoveling in that manure, boy. Jesus, peace. This is what you're really going with? The storyline of PSG winning something? First of all, like Paul said, Poch didn't win nothing as yet. Secondly, the team he is now managing has won nothing as yet. Most importantly, right? This is for me, this is a head versus my heart thing, because Pep is my guy. So I actually wouldn't mind if City won it. But the reality is, what that's my heart. Hold on. hold on. I know the United fans didn't want to hear that, but what my head is saying is not to bet against Real Madrid. I don't know how you could look at a final four teams of Real Madrid and tell me that
Thank
Paris
you.
can lift a Champions League.
With Zidane managing them still.
But Dom,
let me say this.
I cannot believe that is what you really come and tell me. This is what you
All right, let me hop in.
my time. This is what you have me sitting down doing my
This
time.
is subjectively, though. This is subjective. This is
So,
subjective.
but hold on.
For Real Madrid at this point, they've had many players that have suffered from COVID. They have injuries,
and they still just got past Liverpool. They still just got past Liverpool.
If Liverpool took their chances, we will have a different story.
If I don't want to hear all them things.
But that's football. That's football.
If Bayern Munich finished one more chance out of the 31 they made, we will be talking about PSG either. So I ain't trying to hear that.
Let me say this now. My final statement before you guys can carry on, right? In the last 8 seasons, right? The team that beat Bayern Munich 7 out of those 8 seasons have gone on to win the Champions League. I'll left it there.
And you know what about those stats too? You know what about that stat too? The teams that beat Bayern Munich, they are teams who are accustomed winning the Champions League as well. The Real Madrids, the Barcelona, beat them in a final.
7 years.
In the final. No, but hold on. The one team that beat Bayern Munich and then didn't win is a team that had never won it before. The perennial runners-up. Which
that was
Atletico Madrid. It was Atletico Madrid.
Atletico,
That's the same situation at PSG and So if you want to bring that historical relevance to this discussion, that's all I have to say.
I can start because time getting money. So I can start where you ended there. Number one, Atletico Madrid does not have the cutting attack. Never had the cutting attacking threat that PSG have. Not one.
They had an astute defense, though. They had a very astute defense.
Of course, but I never see defense. I never see defense put a goal on the thing. You gonna score it. Anyway. So we can agree on that one. Fine. Secondly, I like the Bayern Munich point with the every team that beat Bayern Munich. In the last 8 seasons, 8 seasons went on to win the Champions League, because I can remember a period of 10 years or so that every team that beat United in 6 or 7 seasons, every team that beat United won the Champions League. So I actually paying attention to that stat now, because PSG just beat Bayern, the same Bayern that beat them in the final last season. Barcelona right before it. But anyway, good. I digress. You cannot take your eyes off of neither City or Real Madrid, because City also have something to prove, and they have Pep. So as much as I hate saying that, however, you see Madrid can trip up. Remember, I tell one of this here, I just feel Madrid can trip up, because everybody expects them to go on and lift number 14, and somebody can get hurt along the way. City, I don't want City win anyway. It's like got to be PSG for me.
Real Madrid have men popping up to play in big games. Vinicius Jr., I don't rate this man at all. This man got the football knowledge of like a.
That's the more oil for my Brazilian boy. That's the more oil for my young Brazilian boy.
He's trash. He's good. No, let me not say trash. Not that he's trash. That's a little too harsh. But he's not developing a football brain. But you see, in that first leg against Liverpool, the man had the game of his life. That game was tailor-made for him. And this is the point I'm trying to make. Real Madrid have men who would step up on the day and do what needs to be done. Today,
Vinicius is good.
He's not good.
Look at Casemiro.
Did you see him play the second leg?
Okay, guys. Today, Adam. We can pause it and come back after the break.
Real Madrid, bro.
We can play the Champions League song with Paris Saint
Madrid.
We can be singing in French.
How many does Zidane have? Zidane is going for number 1.
So welcome back, guys. That was a quite heated argument just now. In terms of Chelsea Football Club and who could potentially be the winners of this edition of the Champions League. But we can segue into something else. You know, everybody could drop the comments. Remember to follow the Box Score on IG and on YouTube as well, Box Score Live. With this next question though, who has been the best manager across the last decade? And we can start with you, Maxi, because I see that you have a lot to say pertaining to this particular issue. Who do you think has been the best manager over the last decade? Maxi.
So over the last 10 years, 2011 to 2021, there is no argument that Josep Guardiola is the best manager over that decade period. I ain't care who come with what. We start with 2011, where he went back to the Champions League final against a team he had already beat and beat them worse in Manchester United. He then goes, by the way, how much troubles he do with Barcelona? I'll let you do the Googling. Then he goes to Germany, fails to deliver the holy grail of the Champions League from a team that just win it. Okay, fine. But he won everything else. Furthermore, the football that he changed in regard to how Bayern played in that German league was absolutely dominant. He then goes to a Manchester City who, until date, yes, he has still failed to deliver that big ears, and I hope he never does as a United supporter. However, what he has also done in England, even though after his first season, people say, well, you see, welcome to England. He can't do what he like to do here. That tiki-taka football dead. He then turned around and dominated the league with that too. So, I mean, he's won everywhere he's been. Multiple trophies everywhere he's been. And he's been multiple places. And there's no sign of losing because he can win 2021 league for sure. And he in the semifinals of the Champions League. So he could possibly win that. Wait, they could actually do the quadruple. Come at me. Natalie voice. Bring it.
This gentleman seems fairly confident in his statements. Ajay, I know you don't feel the same, but let me just make a slight point to him. He went to Bayern and failed though, sir. How do you justify that? He was brought in to win the Champions League and he failed. He didn't even get to a final.
You want me to answer?
You went to a final since Barcelona. So I mean, that says a lot about his managerial ability. Now, to be quite honest, I think that Pep Guardiola is a top manager in the world of football. However, AJ, you take it from here, bro.
I want to answer that, but
hold on, sir. This is AJ's segment, sir. You will have your
forward on.
So before we get into it, Adam, I don't know if Dom knows this already, right? Which is why Dom is laughing so much. Pep Guardiola is actually my favorite manager right now, right? Like, I'm always in discussions defending him. And I like what you said, you know. I like what you said. There are a lot of credible points in there. So, you would think that given the fact that the man is my favorite, I would say him because your argument was very strong. However, I'm actually not going to say Pep. The reason I'm not going to say Pep is because I have to say Zinedine Zidane. And I'll tell you why. I know what the first rebuttal you're probably thinking. Oh,
this Frenchman.
Just listen. I know one of the first things people think. Well, apart from the French, huh?
We're on the same wavelength again, bro. Kudos to you.
apart from the fact that he's a Frenchman, I know like a rebuttal is possibly that, oh well, he only been managing for like the last half of that decade that we're talking about, but that doesn't necessarily negate the success that he had in the 5 years though, out to the 10, because his success in 5 years was a lot more than more managers in the entire 10, right? He just had a more condensed period of winning. The reason why I give him is because, do you know how hard it is to win 3 Champions Leagues back to back to back? Like people just talk about his tactical approach at times and whatnot. Like there are different ways, that more than one way to skin a cat. There's more than one way to be a manager. You may not be the best tactically, but Zidane seems to be a very good man manager. At most times, he seems to get the best out of his players. I think that's tantamount to what he's been able to do at Real Madrid. Listen, the crowning point here, the main focus of my point here is the fact that the man won the Champions League 3 times in a row. The man won the Champions League 3. Listen to this. The man won the Champions League 3 times in a row. You know how hard that is to do? They were the last team to make it to 3 Champions League finals in a row was Juventus. They won 1-1, lost 2. In the early 90s, when the Champions League was rebranded and it just started, Milan made 3 in a row. They only won 1 of the 3 as well. The last team to actually win 3 in a row was Bayern Munich back in the 70s, right after Ajax did it right before them. But still, from the 70s till now, Maxi, you just spoke about how Pep didn't make the finals. This is not something easy to do. It's not even easy to make a Champions League final, you know. You understand how great it is to win it and then be able to motivate the team to win it again the next year. Mind you, you have to have a little bit of luck. But you know what they say. Sure, everybody heard this. Luck is when opportunity meets preparation, right? You have to be prepared. You have to be prepared when these situations come around to be able to grasp it with both hands, right? The man was able to do that and win a Champions League 3 consecutive seasons. I cannot overlook that and say that anybody within that period is better than that. I'm sorry, I can't.
So Mario Poole, I'm guessing you
yes,
share these sentiments.
No. Just to add to what my brother now said, on top of the Champions League victories, if we are talking finals in general, that man has lost 0 finals he has ever been in. Look up the stat. I was waiting for this because I know somebody was going to give me the Pep Guardiola. And I was loving it. I was basking in it in my head. But just that Ajay got to it before me. You know why? Because Pep is a fantastic manager. Fantastic manager. But when you tell me 10 years, if a man manages for half of a decade and wins more in half of his decade than the others in that decade, he is absolutely brilliant. What makes him, to me, not only the best manager in that time, but one of the better managers in world football is because, as my guy Adam will agree with me here, is he has a bit of that Fergie in him, where he can sit down and talk to players, where he can motivate a player that does not have the skill level of a top player and make him believe he has the skill
like
level
that Brazilian
of
boy
a
he was
top
not talking
player.
about Vinicius.
Understand?
Like that Brazilian boy.
Understand that he instills that confidence in you that you will run through walls for Zinedine Zidane.
Yeah, like Benzema.
Like
Benzema.
I can show you another example back to Fergie. Darren Fletcher, Ji-sung Park are not world beaters, but have won so much because Fergie put the confidence in these boys to put it all on the line.
John O'Shea.
Zidane does that.
You know what, guys?
Zidane does that. And Vietnam, I ain't finished yet. Vietnam. And one of my knocks on Pep Guardiola is his lack of man managing skills. He is probably the best tactician world football has ever seen. but his lack of man management in certain games and in certain junctures is a downfall, because we've all read autobiographies from players, namely Zlatan, and he talks about his time at Barcelona under Pep. He talks about how if it isn't done Pep's way, you are scowled upon. You are not held in high regard. And that is why I always say my favorite manager of all time is Alex Ferguson. Understand each player, work with each player to their strengths.
You know,
Help
Mario,
them improve on their weaknesses.
you know, Mario, you made
And
a,
that
a
is
very
what
strong
Zinedine
point.
Zidane does.
You made a very strong point in saying his man management skills has thrusted him into a position where he can be heralded as the best manager in the last decade. And that's all fair. And to be quite honest, I expected most persons to go with the more popular names. However, these managers that both y'all guys have chosen have had jobs given to them. They've come through the youth ranks. For Zidane, he came through the Castilla system under Ancelotti and the various managers that were, doing a great job with the club. And Pep, I mean, La Masia system is tailor-made for him. He's had jobs handed to him where he's had afforded the opportunity to work with finances at a different level to most managers, and he's bought the type of players he needs to win games and to win trophies. However, with all of that being said, a man that he's not the most glamorous in this discussion. However, I like him, and I feel as though he doesn't get enough plaudits. And when you speak of man management, this man is Jurgen Klopp. This man is one of the best man managers in football today. When you speak of how players look at him and how they presume him, he is taken of in a superior light. So his style of football even requires a high level of intensity. The gegenpress has proved dividends. And before you want to chime in, let me just say this, right? He took over Borussia Dortmund. Borussia Dortmund was in 13th place. Let me just bring everything into context because I want to dismantle. He took them from 13th place and turned them
13th or 15th?
It was 13th. But we could fact check. If it's 15th,
yeah,
it's
cool.
even better, right?
Yeah, cause I know it was like next to near relegation, but ain't they all carry on, fella?
Yeah, so Klopp took them from near relegation and brought that club up to the position they are today. And he won back-to-back Bundesliga titles in a league that has been dominated by Bayern Munich.
In a league that only Bayern Munich has done that.
Well, thank you. So he did that, and every year Borussia Dortmund has a model that they sell a player for an extremely high valuation. So he constantly has to reinvent the side. Take that into consideration. He took a Liverpool team. He took a Liverpool team that was, bearing middle table in the league when he took them over. They were about 8th place. Let's be quite real here. Let's be honest. And he not only engineered one of the best league seasons in the history of the Premier League, one of the best. I'm not saying the best. Don't nitpick. He finished. It was 2 seasons back to back. It was the highest second place I've ever seen. He pushed Pep Guardiola to the limits with a smaller budget. The next year, he was almost unbeatable, and he won the league title. Bear this in mind also. He's been to numerous finals, 4 finals, and he's won a Champions League with Liverpool. Went to finals with Borussia Dortmund. He has taken teams that are not in the position like a Real Madrid or a Barcelona and raised the profile of that side to be considered as one of the best teams in Europe today. So let me just say that with all of that in totality, you have to regard Jurgen Klopp because he's done a phenomenal job. Thank you. The floor is yours.
Can I jump in? Can I jump in? Firstly,
I call second.
You give me the Klopp analogy and you left out Mainz because he promoted them. So you do yourself a bit of an injustice because he did a damn hell of a job by getting Mainz to the Bundesliga.
Yes,
so don't forget that.
Yes,
correct.
Yeah, but I didn't think that you got that was outside of the 10-year discussion. So I didn't want to bring that into
Granted,
play.
that being said, Dom, if I have an engineer that produces the best and the fastest car in the world, and I, the driver, are not up to standard, the car will crash. So you can tell me that Zidane came through, the system worked under whoever. At the end of the day, to take a quote from another sport, rest in peace to Dennis Green, you play who you play.
Who in front you?
No, with that also being said, you understand that Klopp has lost finals. We're talking a 10-year span. You understand that Zinedine Zidane has never lost a final. Champions League, none. The 2 times he's been to the Copa del Rey, the man is 5-0 finals or 6-0. Wait, the man Jordan in this stuff? Whoa. Let me just take a step back. The man is 6-0.
But last season, Real Madrid, everybody thought they would have won the Champions League and they crashed out. So
but it was not a final. Dom, the man has won every final he has been in. 1, 2. When you look at Real Madrid in totality after, like, when CR started his little bit of a decline, I guess, in terms of performance, we started saying, oh, Real Madrid aren't going to continue to win. They have won it. The players don't need the motivation but that man motivated them too. And you have to take that into perspective. With players that have won everything, you know how hard it is to keep winning players motivated? Because at this point, some of them is just a paycheck. You understand how difficult it is to keep players that have won it all, not once or twice, but to continue to keep them wanting to win. You have to be a damn good manager to keep that discipline instilled in players.
So what you can say is
I don't disagree with that.
You virtually can't disagree with that pool. And for me, the most phenomenal thing about Zidane is that he left and Real took a little drop off. He came back and he literally put Real back, like, into that ridiculous realm of where they're about to win and they could possibly transfer the league.
Hold on.
Again, I could use another Jordan analogy.
Hold on.
So you changing to Zidane?
No. What I do is I like Tyson. Where you get the body blow that the man look up and, you know, start to feel a little proud. Like, I could take that and then you come with the uppercut. However, I got one for Klopp too, because Klopp look real good in that synopsis you put together for me there. So to Domenico, Klopp look real good. As a matter of fact, most people know that I wanted Jurgen Klopp at United. For me, Jurgen Klopp would have been perfect for us. But you see, Klopp and Zidane, listen, over 10 years, they cannot be a man that has won multiple leagues in that 10 years. Leagues, because a league is a marathon. Men quoting Alex Ferguson and thinking here, a league is a marathon. That one. And 2, yes, he has not gone to the Champions League final. But are we only using the Champions League as the measuring stick? Because I think that would be unfair.
Zidane has 2 league titles as well, sir. 2 league titles as well, sir.
All right, cool. Cool. But wait, Pep got 3 at City. 3 at City, 2 at Bayern, and 2 in Barcelona. In the 10 years I talk about. In 10 years we talking about. You check? And the man take rest in between there. You know what I mean? Like the man, like and his philosophy. Yes, we can talk about man management and what's not what. Fergie dropped the ball with some man too, and I believe Sir Alex Ferguson is the greatest manager ever. And Fergie dropped the ball with some man too. You get me?
That's a discussion. That Fergie point is a discussion for another day because
that's okay. Make sure I hear Fred.
But I'll leave it there.
Make sure I hear Fred.
Something, so I can let you carry on.
I can't. And so
call me when you're going to have the Fergie discussion.
Sims.
Bring on a monument for that. Right. Let me rebut Adam's point here. Right. So it's not necessarily that the Champions League is the measuring stick. It is basically we're looking. You need to look at the managers, the clubs they were at, and what was supposed to be their objective. Every team that Pepper's gone to within this period of time, they wanted him to win a Champions League. Yes, they knew it would have, especially with City more so, they knew it was going to be a project, a rehabilitation project, if you will, because obviously they had never done it and whatnot. So it was like to build this whole, the whole club up from scratch, you know, from grassroots to, and eventually win a Champions League. At Bayern Munich, it was supposed to be an easier transition. It's like, all right, we've already been there. We just want to change our style of football a little bit, but you have to deliver a Champions League, right? As I don't think that the fact that Zidane has won it negates it. The fact of the matter is Real Madrid is that kind of club. They want to win everything every year, and that's quite fine. That's what we've grown to expect from Real Madrid. But we know they prioritize winning the Champions League, right? They prioritize it. So the fact of the matter is Zidane met his objective, you know. We spoke. Dom mentioned the fact that he got. Hold on. That's what I'm saying. His objective is to win the Champions League. You know how hard it is to even make it to 3 consecutive finals, much less to win it year after year. And this is
yes. I just talked about Fergie in the 25 years that he was at United only went to 4 finals.
Great, correct, and couldn't win. He couldn't win 3. He couldn't win 3.
Only went to 3. Yeah. Only went to 4 finals. I went to lost 2. You know what I mean? So
goes to show you how hard it is. Dom, wait. I didn't get to you on Klopp. I'm glad we can.
But I think it's unfair to not mention the challenge that Pep also met at Bayern. In that Bayern, yes, was supposed to be. Hold on. It was supposed to be no challenge. But you forget them old head players that the man had to butt heads with. The Bastions and the man get him out.
So that just adds more credence to the argument as to
why. Thank you for Zidane. He had to manage.
For the man management, yes.
But he didn't just man manage these men and had them playing better. You know, he man managed these men to win 3 Champions Leagues in a row, the 2 leagues, like Paul said, the 2 Super Cups. What else it is? He win the FIFA World Cup, the European, the UEFA Super Cup. The man has won, like Pooh said, every final he's never lost. Last year, when Zidane was eliminated from the Champions League, it was the first time in his managerial career that he was.
It can't only be the Champions League, though. Zidane get and let men like South Setien and then win for Barcelona win leagues. Setien.
But we talking about Barcelona. But the fact of the matter is he won leagues as well. You understand how amazing an achievement it is to win 3 Champions Leagues in 5 years.
For sure.
That's all I'm saying. That 3 is who other manager has 3 in 10 years.
Man, but over 10 years, this man do it. This man do it.
In 5 years, Adam, in 5 years.
The job of a manager is to win, to make tems win trophies. All of these managers we talking about,
I didn't hear you rebut Klopp though.
Oh yeah, I didn't. All right. Sorry.
Count the trophies, I don't end up getting because they're saying Champions Leagues, right? Count all the trophies for them, Jay. It's 3 Champions Leagues, 3 Club World Cups. That's 6. 2 league titles. That's
8.
2 league titles. That's 8. 3 Super Cups, because he won the Super Cup every year after he won the Champions
11.
Champions League. That's 11. 2 Copa del Reyes, that's 13.
13.
He has 13 trophies in 5 years. Are you kidding me? I think it's 13 or 12. Sorry.
But when it's 12 or 13, the difference of one is superfluous, really.
It's actually 11.
Yes, it's 11. Yeah.
11, sorry, 11 and 5.
Because don't forget he missed a year inside there too.
But it don't matter. It don't matter. That's 11 trophies in 5 years. That's like FIFA stats. That's like
of course.
FIFA,
Soon to be 12. Soon to be 12. Yeah.
For sure. Soon
I
to
don't.
be. What you saying again about Klopp, man? I don't even know why you making me do this.
So
I like Klopp. Why you want me to discredit him, man? Klopp is a very good manager. Yes.
I like Klopp, just like Pep. They're just managing the wrong place. It literally grinds my soul that I have to watch two managers I love manage Liverpool and City.
I mean, over the years, I've heard a lot
both of them manage the scum.
The scum of the earth.
Himself enough because he's gone to all the best clubs across in each division, right? Rather it be each league. He went to Bayern Munich. They were dominant. They won the league. That was expected. They won the cup. That was expected. What they needed was for him to win the Champions League, which he didn't win. Hence why the stink is still up in ears about if it was a success. And the majority of fans and the majority of pundits are saying that that was a largely disappointing stink. He went to Manchester City. Now, I mean, they spend the most money in the Premier League. Let's be quite honest. I don't want to use that as a measuring stick against him.
In the world, Dom, in the world.
In the sense of what we're discussing as the best, we can pick at those little figures. No, for Zidane, again, Zidane has done phenomenal. I take nothing away from Zinedine. However, it is Real Madrid. He has done the job that was given. You're given a job, you're supposed to do it. Like you said, Paul, you know, he did what was asked of him. But
I can't be trying to roll.
But for me, when I look at everything, right, I get what all you guys saying, you know, the man got the best club, he got the best players, all of these things work in his favor. But for Klopp, he has never been that guy. And he has to work for every semblance of success he had to get.
Every piece of credence.
From in terms of bringing up teams, returning them to the former successes.
But Dom, and you look at that squad from top to bottom, that Borussia Dortmund squad from top to bottom. Next period with the Bayern Munich squad when he won the league, Dom, we just talking like percentiles and slight formalities. Both teams
but that's what it became. That's what it became, though. To be fair,
both teams you can't use that. You can't say that, though.
Dom, like both.
But hold on, because I feel like we've spoken about, Paul and I have spoken about the trophy haul for Zidane, right? But we haven't put a lot of basically we have put a lot of verbiage to his actual tactical setup. But Paul actually touched on it in one of the previous segments, right? The fact of the matter is, like Paul just said, I didn't hear any rebuttals to that. That midfield trio. Let's not act as if Zidane didn't put together that midfield trio. And from 2016 till now is still getting the best out of them. Because that wasn't the same midfield that won Carlo Ancelotti's Champions League in 2014. So it's not as if the man is a bad tactical manager either. Like that, this is what
exactly.
I'm saying. So we could talk about all the stuff that the other managers did, the gegenpress from
Jurgen Klopp.
The tiki-taka from Pep. Zinedine Zidane has his philosophy and it is predicated on that midfield trio, and he's getting the best out of the entire team. Like I said,
as some Madristas call it, AJ, the Holy Trinity, the midfield Trinity. He wins based on the midfield Trinity.
Yeah, and the man again. So the man is a slouch when it comes to tactics.
Nah. I ain't saying the man is a slouch. No, I would never say that.
Very important. Modric is getting up there in age. There was a point in time that Modric would have even left the club, but obviously he's dedicated his time there. Let's see after Modric and Kroos if Zinedine Zidane can orchestrate this side to continue to win. I mean, come on. I'm glad you say so. Let's see
if Klopp could start back winning, now that he don't have Van Dijk, now that he don't have Jordan Henderson, and with the same front three, that have been scoring goals.
Seventh. Teleport down there, man.
Let me see. Because he is having problems. This man is having problems. One defender gone down, and he is not. Let me not say one defender. The main defender gone down. He's having problems. Bringing Thiago Alcantara can't get him to play well in that team.
I'm glad he said that, right? Because Real Madrid goes out every year and purchases some of the best players in world football. Manchester
you still have to get the best out of them. You still have to get the best out of them.
Sir.
Klopp did not get Thiago Alcantara. Klopp just got Thiago Alcantara that won a Champions League last year.
Bought Fabinho that was doing the dog.
Listen, that we were scouting for 3 years. That we were scouting for 3 years.
Go ahead, dog.
Let them finish.
We spoke about Timo Werner earlier, right? And it was well publicized that Jurgen Klopp was quite interested in the young German. However, due to finances within Liverpool Football Club, they said, no, we don't need him at this moment. We have a winning formula. Let me add smaller pieces, more affordable, shrewd pieces. And that's what they did. Thiago was not an expensive passage of cash. They bought players that were reasonable
but his talent is expensive, though. His talent is expensive, though.
Not denying that. But if I am a manager, I want you to fully believe in everything that I do. When I win, I want full control. I want to be able to say, well, yes, I want that player and that player.
Not when your club is run by. There's a difference, Dom. Though. Not when your club is run by Americans.
So that is in the detriment of Jurgen Klopp, because City run by sheikhs and Arabs. So Pep is given everything.
They got that Arab money.
Zidane don't even go call a shot. It's just the
Krong money.
Wait, Dom.
Money, man.
Wasn't it? Hold on, wait. Let me ask a question. I don't like that.
He don't want Hazard, Maxi. He don't want Hazard. He's a firm supporter of
Produced.
But Dom, did he not leave? Did he not leave the first time? Dom, did he not leave the first time because he and Perez had differences in the transfer policy? Was it not because of the transfer policy? Was it not because of the transfer policy that he stepped down in the first case?
Yes.
Yeah,
okay. I'm not trying to hear you that. I'm not trying to hear you that.
But those points is pertinent, though. But Dom's point is pertinent, though. But Dom's point is pertinent.
I'm saying, don't make it seem as if Zidane has been getting everything from day one. The fact of the matter is, he fell out with his president.
No, he hasn't.
And he left.
Exactly.
Yes, Real Madrid are going to get quality, but that buying quality players does not automatically equate to winning. You still have to coach and manage these players to win.
You know what hurt me? The most in this whole deliberation? My whole Josep backing in that I don't know if it's Dom or AJ or Pooh for that matter that mentioned that you have to. The reason why Pep's time at Bayern was a failure because they was expected to win the Bundesliga and the Deutsche Pokal, but he ain't produced the Champions League because the players at Bayern had was supposed to do exactly what he did, which is a testament. There's a side point to one Jose Mourinho at Inter Milan, but I got left that way right there.
Please do. We don't mention him. We don't mention.
Rando was telling in this era. Good. Rando was telling the Portuguese that he ran with Mancini team. He said, "Yeah, or watch this," and then produce the treble.
The only reason that Mourinho isn't brought into this argument is at the back end of that 10-year thing.
Yeah, for sure. He's falling off.
He won with Inter. He did phenomenal. The treble. Then he went to Real Madrid and he stopped Pep Guardiola.
Stop Pep. Correct. A lot of people don't credit him for that.
However, we went to Man U.
He stopped Pep and still lost trophies. How you mean?
Nobody ain't denying that master pool.
But no boy tease, bro.
United States and Tottenham. Oh my God! When you go to Tottenham in
No. It didn't start with United. He went back to Chelsea.
This is where this ends.
Chelsea.
From the time you had to mention them, this is where this ends.
Remember, guys, like, subscribe,
Mourinho?
and make some comments. It was intense today. I want to thank Adam Graves and Mario Van der Poel for showing up today. It's phenomenal to have you guys. AJ, you
Anytime.
Every week. Don't dig man. No? We can see you next time when Dom cuts AJ's tail yet again.
Oh no.